Hey guys, today I'm gonna do a video on what I like to wear when I'm fishing in cold weather. It's kind of the layers and the system I have. I feel like I've about got it perfected over the years. It's kind of been a little bit of experimenting over time to figure out what I like, what I don't like, or what suits me the best. A lot of people ask though about fishing in cold weather, like how do you do it? You know, how do you enjoy that? It's got to be freezing and miserable out there, and the answer to that is it does not have to be if you dress properly and have the right layer. So I'll kind of go over what I like to use and what I have found works the best for me. All right, so here's kind of all my layers laid out on the floor. This will keep you comfortable really down to probably around 5 degrees or so. Normally though in Missouri, I'd say wintertime lows in the morning are usually about 20 degrees, 25 degrees. Sometimes you get it down into the 15s or in the teens. And every once in a while, you'll get a good cold snap and go down into single digits or around zero, but that's not all that often. So my whole little system here is based on layers. That is the best way to dress in cold weather. If it gets too warm, you can shed a layer. If you get too cold, you can add a layer. So that's what it's all based on. And we're gonna start with one of the most important parts, and that is your base layer, which is directly contacting your skin. So here I have some smart wool. This is a merino wool. It's the 250 gram or whatever. It's the heavier version of the smart wool. So I have the top and I have the bottom. You can use Under Armour, you can use merino wool, you can use other synthetics. I'm just a fan of merino wool though because it's soft, it's like a natural fiber. It keeps you warm, it's breathable, and it does not smell. It's used a lot of times in hunting because, you know, if you wear your Under Armour and stuff like that, and after a day or two, you know, take a smell. It definitely does not smell that great anymore. So that's the base layer I wear directly to my skin. Like I said, there's options there. Next thing I'll go on to is socks. I prefer also a merino wool sock. These are just some Realtree socks or Bass Pro or Cabela's. I've got a couple pairs of these. I also have some smart wool socks, usually just like a medium weight. I don't want something too heavy because if your feet do get sweaty, that's the end of that. So I prefer something a little bit lighter so your feet don't get so hot. And I never want to wear boots. I'm always wearing tennis shoes unless the weather is rainy or snowy or something and my feet are going to get wet. So these will take me down to any temperature, and we actually take some little toasty toes. Basically, they're like hot hands, but for your toes. And we've found over time experimenting, it's best just to stick one on top of your feet, like right here above your toes. And that'll keep your toes warm all day long, no matter what. You can wear tennis shoes, and you know that helps the back because if you have boots or something, they don't always have the best support. And it's also easier to run trolling motor with shoes on. That's just my opinion. So now moving over to what would be my next layer. This is just something I've had for quite a few years. It's basically just another base layer. It's from Cabela's. It's pretty inexpensive, but it's a heavyweight fleece, kind of is what I would consider it. So after my fleece, I move on to a hoodie. Use whatever brand you want. This is just some Carhartt hoodies we had made. I like these. They're heavy duty, they're warm, they'll last a long time. So really use whatever you want. I just prefer something with a hood because that's just another layer you can put up on your head. All right, so that was all the base layers. Their job is basically to keep your core warm and keep the heat close to your body. Now, the next thing you want is being on a lake, being on a boat, is you want a windproof layer. If you do not have a windproof layer, it's gonna take all the heat right out of you. These are some Gore-Tex from Bass Pro. This is my old pair. I have some Cabela's Guidewear now. There's all sorts of different brands. You can use Aftco, you can use Simms, you can use the Bass Pro brand, the Cabela's brand. There's Hook. There's tons and tons of different brands that have different rain gear, and they all pretty much serve the same purpose of trying to keep you dry if it does rain, and ultimately keeping you windproof to keep that heat in. So find a pair of bibs that you like that are comfortable and go with that. And then I will move on to the top section. So here's the raincoat that came with the bibs, and then here is what I've ultimately replaced it with, unless it is actually raining. So after the bibs, I have two coats. Now, I'm not wearing both of these coats all the time. I'm gonna wear the actual raincoat only if it is raining or snowing very heavily, and I'm going to use this coat all the other times. Why would I do that? This coat is windproof, and it is about 2.5 times lighter than this coat, and this coat is warmer. This is just a down jacket. This is actually an Aftco jacket. I've talked about this in some of my other videos. I also have one from REI. It's just like a camping, hiking store. So it doesn't really matter what brand you get. Just get yourself a nice, heavier weight down jacket. This is all filled with down material inside these ruffles here, basically. And they're incredibly warm and incredibly light. So wearing something that's much lighter throughout the day is gonna keep you way more comfortable. You have better mobility with this. You're gonna be less fatigued at the end of the day, and it's just gonna be a more comfortable experience. This has probably been my best addition to kind of my system in the last couple of years. I used to always wear the heavier rain jackets here, and I got tired of having poor mobility and just having the heavy jacket on when it wasn't totally necessary just for the windproof quality. And then switching to this, you get the best of both worlds. You get better insulation, it's lighter, and you still are windproof. So hands down, get you a down jacket if you're serious about fishing in the wintertime. So going on from coats, we'll go to some gloves and some hand warmers, and then I'll talk about stocking caps and net gaiters and stuff. But as far as gloves go, I got a few different styles here. I'm gonna wear these Fish Monkey woolly gloves 90% of the time when I'm actually fishing. They are wool, they don't absorb water real heavily, they keep your hands warm even if there's a little bit of a wind. So those are nice. I got some other Fish Monkey gloves here. These are totally waterproof, totally windproof. They're pretty decent too, but I actually still end up wearing these most of the time. They're just simple. They actually tend to keep my hands warmer, these do, than these. I also have kind of like some work gloves here. They got a rubber palm. They got a little bit of insulation here. These actually keep your hands pretty warm as well. Then these are some gloves that I would wear during like a run. These are just Gore-Tex. They're totally windproof. You can get a hunting glove, whatever you got. Something that's insulated and has got some windproof protection when you get on a long run, because that's when your hands are really going to be cold. And then these are some other liners that actually go with these gloves, but these are merino wool as well from Simms, and they're pretty sweet. You can wear these down into probably the mid 40s or so for me, and your hands actually stay pretty warm. They just got 2 fingertips here and then your thumbs open, so those are really nice. And then this hand warmer here, this is a king when it gets really, really cold. I throw some hot hands in here, about 2 of them usually, and keep it around my back and bring it around the front whenever my hands get cold and I want to warm them up a little bit. It'll get you toasty in no time. Or if you make a long run, I'll take like my woolly gloves and I'll stuff them in here, and then I'll put my bigger gloves on, make a run, and when I get to my spot and take these out, my gloves are nice and toasty and they feel excellent on your hands. So the final thing will be like stocking cap and a neck gaiter. Stocking cap, you get whatever you want. I've also got some smart wool ones, some merino wool. They're super lightweight, they're very thin, they're comfortable to wear with sunglasses, so I've been wearing that a lot lately, but you can get whatever stocking cap you want, really. And then I've been wearing also a smart wool net gaiter. They have a short version and they have a long version. The short version is just long enough to kind of go about where your lips are. You know, if you got a little bit longer neck, it's probably even shorter than that. So I would recommend the longer version. The longer version is a lot more like a buff where you can put it on and it's got plenty bunched up around your neck, and you could pull it kind of way up over your head if you want. So I've been using that too. It's really comfortable. It's really nice for making longer runs. You can pull it up while you run with it, and then you can take it back down when you get to your spot if it's too warm. You can kind of just keep it around your neck and it keeps cold air from going down. So if you're serious about winter fishing and you're looking for a better layer strategy, or you're getting cold all the time, that's kind of what I use. Maybe you're new to winter fishing and you want to get into it. That's also, you know, gives you a little bit of an idea of what you might need. I always dress warmer than I think I need to be, because you get out there on the water, you get the wind blowing on you, you're not protected by anything, and it oftentimes feel a lot colder than it really is. Winter fishing is a great time to get out there. You don't have to worry about all the pleasure boaters and stuff, especially on Lake the Ozarks. Pretty much got the whole place to yourself, just other fishermen. It's, you know, one of the only times a year you can go from the dam all the way up the river. You can go wide open down the whole lake if you wanted to, and not have to worry about big boats and big waves and stuff. And you can also go out and just catch really big fish this time of the year. So get out there on the water in the winter and kind of enjoy having the lake to yourself. So we'll have some more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.